We still have some showers across the area, but a lot of this is starting to slide eastward and almost out of the viewing area. I'll show you what to expect for the rest of the morning into the afternoon.
Plus, a shooting at an apartment complex in Durham left one man dead and 3 others hurt. What we know about the shooting, police investigated for almost 7 hours.
And the WRAL storm tracker is tracking the road conditions as it moves through Raleigh. We are going to check in so you can be prepared before you head out the door. Not a bad idea to have an umbrella today as you're waking up this morning. It's this Thursday morning. Almost said Wednesday for some reason.
No.
How dare
Thursday.
I discount us that on this week? Thanks for joining us here on Fox 50. I'm Chris Lovington.
And I'm Michelle McConaughey. Yes, we are not stuck on Wednesday. We're in Thursday. And like Chris said, take your umbrella with you this morning. We're looking at some kind of on and off rain today. Meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner tracking exactly where that rain is right now.
In our eastern counties, we continue to have some scattered showers here. We're not looking at anything severe right now. Fortunately, we've not had any severe weather so far this morning. Looking at, again, just this rain starting to ease up, taper off. We had some heavier rain earlier. We had some frequent lightning and some strong gusty winds, but that has all started to settle down a little bit. Now, don't get me wrong, it is still wet out there right now. It is a messy commute in a lot of places, especially south of the Triangle. A lot of strong thunderstorms still associated with this system, but you can see things are looking a lot quieter over North Carolina. There were some tornado warnings in South Carolina overnight, and we continue to have ongoing severe thunderstorm warnings and a tornado watch for a good bit of the deep south. We still have our level 2 risk for severe storms. We'll see if the Storm Prediction Center updates that for us in the next few hours. For Friday, it's a level 1 risk for our southern counties, so we may still see another round of this tomorrow. You can see the rain pushing on out of here between 9 and 10 o'clock. After that, just a little bit of light patchy rain, possibly an isolated thunderstorm in our southern counties, but this latest run of Futurecast is showing very little happening for us after lunchtime. Some cloudy skies and breezy conditions, but in terms of any more thunderstorms, it looks unlikely. We take a live look at Rocky Mount Mills, where it is wet this morning. We've had some rain falling here. Temperatures are in the upper 60s currently. It is going to be another warm afternoon with mostly cloudy skies. Highs will climb into the mid 80s, Ken.
Elizabeth, at 8:02, checking road conditions this morning. You can see this map showing exactly what we're talking about and what you've just mentioning, Elizabeth. This is a map showing all the wet roads in the Triangle and surrounding communities as well. Of course, we have the WRAL storm tracker out in the roadways this morning. We've got Kelsey Coffey in that storm tracker. Kelsey, you're on 40 West going towards Cary. What are you seeing right now?
Ken, we actually just got on the belt line now, so here's a live look at road conditions for what we're seeing. At this moment, it's not really any heavy rain, just a little light drizzle right now, which is much different than what we saw about an hour ago in Harnett County. That's where most of the heavy rain will be, is in the southern part of our viewing area. But give yourself some extra time on your morning commute because you're definitely going to see some wet roads out there. But Ken, what can you tell folks as they're heading out the door?
Yeah, you said it right there, Kelsey. Just be careful out there and give yourself some extra time because elsewhere around the Triangle, we're just seeing a handful of crashes popping up on our traffic map this morning. None of them is on any of our major thoroughfares, so it should not really affect you in any way whatsoever. But we'll keep monitoring it here in the WRAL Traffic Center.
All right, thank you, Ken. We're following some breaking news. A man is dead and 3 others are hurt after a shooting in Durham. It happened at the Duke Manor Apartments on South LaSalle Street just after 10 o'clock last night. And this is video from the WRAL breaking news tracker. It shows shell casings and evidence markers on the ground. Police responded after 3 men and a woman showed up with gunshot wounds to nearby Duke University Hospital. The man died at the hospital. The woman has life-threatening injuries. This is believed to be an isolated incident.
And a woman is recovering after being stabbed earlier this morning in Raleigh. Officers were called to Carlton Avenue just after 3:30 this morning. They say they aren't sure if the stabbing happened there or somewhere else. The woman was taken to the hospital and is expected to be physically okay after the stabbing. Authorities say they have not made any arrests in connection with this. And tens of thousands of people in the western part of our state are without power, and this is because of severe weather there last night. More than 50,000 people lost power in the Charlotte area. A person in Gaston County died, and another was taken to the hospital after a tree fell on their car. A state of emergency was declared there last night. Gaston County schools are closed to students.
At least one person is dead and others are hurt after tornadoes ripped through central Tennessee. This is video here from Murray County, which is just south of Nashville. Authorities there say they are in search and rescue mode right now. The storms destroyed several homes.
When I hollered at everybody to get in the closet, and the next thing we knew, we heard just seen sky. My house is gone. It's just gone.
That's so heartbreaking. The National Weather Service says it had 4 reports of tornadoes in the area.
A man is in the hospital after being shot in Wake Forest. Police say they responded to North Franklin Street just before 8 o'clock last night. A man was found with a gunshot wound to his leg, but he is expected to be okay. No arrests have been made.
Durham Public School leaders are taking a closer look at how students are being disciplined. The school board will review their current policies tonight and how the methods they use are working. For short-term suspensions, the percentage of DPS secondary students has increased slightly. The number of secondary students who are given long-term suspensions has also increased. The board will consider how effective these and other methods are during their work session tonight. That gets started at 5:30. And tonight, a memorial service is happening for Alden Elliott. The Department of Adult Corrections officer died in last week's shooting in Charlotte. And this is video from the procession for Elliott that happened a week ago today. The memorial service will be at 6 o'clock tonight at Catawba Valley Community College in Hickory.
Health authorities confirm a case of tuberculosis in Randolph County. The case was identified at Eastern Randolph High School. Leaders with Randolph County Public Health say the person with TB has not been in attendance since April.
A string of car break-ins in the Briar Creek area has many on high alert. Take a look at this: broken windows in this blue car. There have been 7 break-ins reported in the last month. Police say this has been an ongoing issue, specifically near area gyms like Planet Fitness. People say the thieves are rummaging through their center consoles and glove compartments looking for anything of value.
I'm glad that they didn't take anything, but it's senseless to bust somebody's car open like that and damage it for no reason.
And Raleigh police say it's important to not just hide your valuables in your car, but also take them with you. They have not made any arrests or identified any persons of interest in this string of break-ins.
Tonight, the Carolina Hurricanes will try to claw their way back into their series against the New York Rangers. They'll play Game 3 at PNC Arena after losing both Games 1 and 2 in New York. Puck drop for tonight's game is at 7 o'clock. And after the game, tune into WRAL for our exclusive post-game live coverage. It gets started at 11:25, and coming up in 10 minutes, WRAL's Pat Welter tells us what Coach Rod Brindamore says the team is working on ahead of the game.
Travel miles or a percentage back on gas and groceries. Many people love their credit card rewards, but are they really giving you a boost? Federal leaders will meet today to find out if consumers are actually benefiting from these deals.
And online therapy company BetterHelp is paying out for releasing user data. How you could receive a percentage of that settlement if you use the service.
And we have some scattered showers in our southern and eastern counties. Much of that is moving on out of the area. I'll show you what happens next on Futurecast for the rest of the day.
Welcome back on your very cloudy Thursday morning. This is a live look over North Hills. Very gray today. Not raining there right now, but we are not out of the woods just yet. Meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner tracking this rain system for us. It is pushing out east.
It has definitely made for some messy conditions this morning, that's for sure. Currently, we have just some scattered showers that are in our eastern counties. And as you take a look at this loop, you can see that rain is definitely fizzling. So that's good news. We have not had any severe storms so far this morning, and our severe threat certainly dropping at this point. So still some showers from Clayton to Smithfield to Goldsboro to Wilson up toward Rocky Mount and on up into Edgecombe County as well. But that rain definitely a good bit weaker than what we saw earlier. Now, this storm is still really cranked up back to our west. We still have tornado watches, tornado warnings that we had in South Carolina overnight last night. The watches are there in red and still ongoing severe thunderstorm warnings. But all of that has been back to our west, and it looks to remain there. We do still have the level 2 risk for severe storms for the rest of the day. We'll be watching to see if the Storm Prediction Center drops us down to a level 1 or just removes it altogether, as it looks like, for the most part, our severe weather threat is over. We take a look at Futurecast at 10 a.m. and you can see we're back back to just dry conditions or a few isolated showers. At lunchtime, there's the possibility that another wave sneaks through in our southern counties, but I wouldn't expect to see much severe weather with that. And then once we get past lunchtime, we're looking at mainly cloudy skies. I wouldn't expect to see a repeat of this during the evening commute. It looks like it should be dry for the second half of the day. For tomorrow, we'll see another round of thunderstorms starting around lunchtime. It's a level 1 risk for severe storms in our southern counties. Damaging wind would be our biggest threat. Let's walk through Friday for you. May start off with some sunshine, but once we get toward lunchtime, mainly in our southern counties, scattered showers and thunderstorms develop. Once we get later into the afternoon, there could be some of those developing along any part of the viewing area as the actual cold front comes through and moves on by Friday night. We take a look at what's happening out across the area. We had some rain there in Goldsboro as well as Apex, Chapel Hill, and in Fayetteville. A lot of folks have seen some rain. At this point, most of that rain has tapered off, but it is still wet out there, and that can often affect your morning commute. As we take a look at Friday, we may end up seeing another quarter of an inch to a half an inch of rain. Once all this moves out, we're going to open the door to an absolutely gorgeous weekend. Tomorrow will be 81 degrees, so a little cooler, but Saturday and Sunday, all the humidity that you've been feeling lately moves right on out of here. Our highs will be in the 70s with mostly sunny skies. Absolutely beautiful. And that trend does continue for much of next week. We do get back into a chance of thunderstorms again by Tuesday and Wednesday, Ken.
At 8:13, Elizabeth, checking the road conditions. This map shows the triangle and surrounding communities, just wet roads everywhere. Most of the crashes that you see dotting our traffic map this morning are not on any of our major roadways, but if you're getting ready to head out, we're going to bring your attention to a couple of crashes that we've been monitoring here in the last half hour or so. One crash happened on Pool Road in the eastbound lane near the belt line, the westbound lanes of the belt line right there. That's not really the trouble spot. The real trouble spot is right here on 87 in the southbound lanes coming in from the Zebulon area. Those southbound lanes that snake onto the north side of the belt line there. You can see the bumper-to-bumper traffic there. Definitely give yourself some extra time if you're heading in that area as well. This crash just happened as well. This one happened on US 70, the westbound lanes, not causing any major delays in that area. Just look for some police activity, just if you happen to be going through I-70 this morning in the westbound lanes. Over in Durham, this crash just happened on the Durham Freeway near the TW Alexander Drive, and you can see traffic is building there on TW Alexander Drive and 885.
Jeff Hogan of the WRAL Live Center. I want to take you to Thailand. Major flames and smoke coming out of this facility here. It's a big storage tank facility for chemicals. One person was killed here this morning. 4 others were injured after that fire broke out. This is an industrial park. It was contained within about 6 hours, but they feel like it's going to take about another 10 hours to fully put those flames out. You see the smoke rising up into the sky there. About 400 workers and people nearby who live nearby have been evacuated to temporary shelters. They say that the tank contains a type of gasoline, like a mixture of chemicals that are commonly used in gasoline blending. And that's what went up in flames. There are huge storage tanks there in Thailand. They're still investigating the cause of that fire.
Sad situation. Thanks, Jeff. Well, this week, the Biden administration will hand a report over to Congress determining whether Israel has violated international law during the war in Gaza. The decision could lead to significant repercussions and further inflame divisions at home and abroad. The report was originally due to Congress yesterday. The findings could fuel concerns over Israel's use of U.S.-supplied weapons in Gaza. The report will also weigh in on whether Israel has hindered the delivery of humanitarian aid from the U.S.
And a bill that would add a new definition of anti-Semitism to state law is headed to the state Senate. Supporters of what's titled the Shalom Act say it will help the state prosecute hate crimes against the Jewish community. The bill would add the law to the Holocaust Remembrance Alliance's work definition of anti-Semitism. But critics, including some in the Jewish community, say that it's too broad and could censor political criticism of the Israeli government.
Today, the Biden administration is expected to unveil a way to tighten the U.S. immigration system. The rule change would help officials quickly deny asylum claims of ineligible migrants. It isn't a major overhaul, but it is a tightening of existing policies. The move comes as President Biden is under pressure to take executive action on border security. Some moderate Democrats now joining Republicans in that request.
If you've ever used the online therapy company BetterHelp, you could soon receive a refund. The company just settled with the FTC for sharing customer data with advertisers. BetterHelp agreed to pay nearly $8 million, and any users who paid for the service between August 2017 and December 2020 are eligible for a refund. The FTC says refunds will be sent by June 10th.
A new study reveals heartbreaking numbers. More than 321,000 American children lost a parent to drug overdoses from 2011 to 2021. And during that decade, more than 649,000 people died of a drug overdose. The largest group of those people were parents between 41 and 64. The study found that more children lost their fathers to an overdose than their mothers. Researchers reported the rate of children whose parents died by a drug overdose more than doubled during that 10-year period.
Today, federal leaders will host a hearing on how the credit card reward programs in our country work and whether you're getting a fair deal. More than 41% of Americans have a travel rewards card. They offer deals on flights and travel by accumulating points. But they also have annual fees as high as $650 and interest rates above the national average. That's leaving many people wondering if the headache of accumulating and redeeming the points is actually worth it.
Many consumers actually lose out on these deals. They may be paying way more than the value of the awards that they accrue.
The Consumer Financial Protection Bureau and the U.S. Department of Transportation are holding today's hearing.
Miss Teen USA has stepped down from her role just days after Miss USA did the same. Uma Sofia Srivastana posted to Instagram saying that her personal values no longer fully align with the direction of the organization. The high schooler from New Jersey won the pageant back in September. Her announcement comes on the heels of Miss USA Noelia Voigt stepping down earlier this week. She said that she needs to focus on her mental health. And the CDC is trying to prevent the spread of rabies in the U.S. by updating rules for bringing dogs into the country. The agency will require all dogs coming into the country to appear healthy upon arrival. Dogs must also be at least 6 months old, microchipped, and have an import form filled out online. The new rules will go into effect August 1st.
The Canes will be back on home ice in Raleigh to try to clinch Game 3 in their series with the New York Rangers. WRAL Sports' Pat Welter has a preview.
Winning and losing, it's a thin margin, kind of like that hit on Martin Necas. An inch higher, and he's seeing stars. Instead, it's Jacob Trouba flying headfirst into the boards. The Canes are the team right now licking their wounds down 0-2. Now, I talked to Necas yesterday morning. He called it a clean hit. The Canes, though, losing 4-3 Tuesday night in double overtime, a game where they outshot New York 57-39. Special teams the difference yet again. Carolina 0 for 5 on the power play, 0 for 10 in the series. The Rangers have cashed in twice on the power play in both games. And the Canes know they'll need to flip the script in Game 3.
We've had some chances, but we got to get, obviously, you got to score. And so we got to do that. We got to get a little more at the net, a little more inside. They're keeping us to the outside a little too much, and we're settling for that. So that's one area.
I mean, I think anytime you kind of go through a little bit of a dry spell, especially now, you just want to see one go in, no matter how it goes in, whether it's a set play or bounces off 3 shin pads and goes in. You just want to see it go in the net, and that's what we need. And I think it all starts with shooting the puck more.
Worst 2-game stretch on the power play this season. I think that guy, Igor Shesterkin, has had a lot to do with that. And WRAL is your home for the Canes post-game show. The rest of the playoffs after Game 3, we'll have a post-game show tonight at 11:25. We'll take you inside the locker room and the press conference with Rod Brindamore, and we'll have analysis from former Cane Shane Willis, as well as insight from the entire WRAL sports team.
And yesterday, there was a tribute for 2 of the officers who worked in the State Department of Adult Correction. They were part of the U.S. Marshals task force that was serving a warrant that day.
Despite being dealt tragedy, I think that spirit that unifies the department, I think it unifies all of us. Rallying together and coming together in times of crisis is the most important thing that we can do.
And Governor Cooper said he thinks the officers who died would want people to advocate for the officers who are still living. That includes advocating for better pay, training, and equipment.
2 police officers in Iowa helped people and at least 1 owl after a tornado there. A baby owl, or an owlet, was stuck beneath a pile of branches. Officer Mason Roberts picked the bird up and called animal control. Iowa Bird Rehabilitation Center experts say the owl's wing was injured during the storm. The owl is showing signs of progress, though, and even eating. It'll soon be transferred to another rehab center where hopefully it gets a lot better. A mother is demanding change because her daughter was electrocuted at a neighborhood pool.
You know, I hate to say it, but I won't be surprised if it happens again in North Carolina.
That's why tonight at 6, WRAL investigates pools inspections, the rules that happen as we head into summer, and why thorough electrical checks aren't part of the safety process.
Coming up for us, officials pivoting to search and rescue mode in central Tennessee after a tornado ripped through that area. See the damage left behind.
Plus, a new art installation in New York City is a portal to Dublin, Ireland. Kinda. We'll tell you how the project connects the 2 cities.
Safe with the latest WRAL Weather Alert Day info. Get up to the minute weather and traffic conditions when you get in your car. In Raleigh on 99.3 FM, in Durham 96.5 FM, and everywhere on 101.5 HD3.
Good morning. Happy Thursday. Time now is 8:26. I'm Michelle McConaughey. It is another WRAL Weather Alert Day. Some of us seeing that rain right now, some others not. Meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner showing us where the rain is coming down and how long this is going to last.
We definitely had some heavy rain earlier this morning, some strong gusty winds and a lot of lightning. Most of that over at this point. The rain that continued to linger there in eastern North Carolina is dissipating very quickly. You can see it just sort of fizzling out right before our eyes. We still have the potential to see an isolated shower or thunderstorm up until the early part of the afternoon. It is definitely gray out there. You can see that deck of sort of mid-level clouds that's developed. Our rain chances will continue to taper off between now and lunchtime, and then just an isolated chance of a shower or thunderstorm later on. It is going to be a warm day today. Highs will climb on up into the mid-80s. Heat index close to 90 degrees, Ken.
Elizabeth, checking the road conditions, you see the wet roads that all over the Triangle and surrounding communities. Most of the crashes that are dotting our traffic map this morning really just not on any of our major thoroughfares and not affecting your morning commute. What is affecting your morning commute is the usual morning congestion we're seeing building, particularly those southbound lanes of 87 coming off and going on to the north side of the Beltline. We're seeing quite a bit of bumper-to-bumper traffic, and also the traffic buildup that we see usually this time of morning on the south side of the Beltline as well.
All right, thanks, Ken. 4 people were shot and 1 was killed at an apartment complex in northwest Durham. It happened around 10 p.m. at the Duke Manor Apartments. Police responded after 3 men and a woman showed up with gunshot wounds to Duke University Hospital. The man died, and this is believed to be an isolated incident. And next on Fox 50, we have another check on the roads during this WRAL Weather Alert Day. And coming up next on Today, water safety tips for National Water Safety Month.
This latest round of rain almost out of here, but it is likely to be breezy this afternoon. We could see 1 or 2 more storms later on. I'll walk you through Futurecast.
And as the storms move out of the area, the WRAL Storm Tracker monitoring the roads for us this morning. We'll check in so you can be prepared for your morning commute.
Plus, tornadoes in Oklahoma and Tennessee. See some of the damage that people are waking up to there this morning. A lot of stuff going on there, including we have some outages in the western part of our state. A lot of stuff that we're following this morning. But first, we want to say good morning and thanks for joining us here on Fox 50. I'm Chris Lovingood.
And I'm Michelle McConaughey. Yeah, we're going to get to all of that for you. But first, we have to take a look at our local weather here. Meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner following the rain very closely. It is kind of pushing out.
It is. We're fortunately seeing that last little bit dissipating in our eastern counties. So we're going to get a little bit of a break here, most likely for the next couple of hours. It is likely to be breezy, and we might see another isolated shower or thunderstorm that pops up a little closer to lunchtime. Here's a look at that last bit of rain moving on out. Now, earlier this morning, we did have some very heavy rain, a lot of lightning, and some windy conditions in our southern counties. And this system has a history of producing severe storms, and it's still at it in some parts of the south. You can see the red shaded area. That's where we have a tornado watch in effect. effect and some ongoing severe thunderstorms just north of Atlanta pushing southward. There were a few tornado warnings early this morning, even in South Carolina, but fortunately, we did not end up with any severe thunderstorm warnings or tornado warnings this morning. We still have the level 2 risk in place, but it's possible that the Storm Prediction Center would lower that or drop it a little later on today. Tomorrow, we're under a level 1 risk in our southern counties. Let's take a look at the rest of the day today. As we get closer to 10, 11 o'clock, we see that rain continuing to be on the lighter side. Mostly cloudy skies here at lunchtime, but an isolated shower or storm could pop up in our southern counties right around lunchtime. After that, we should be dry for the afternoon, mostly cloudy, but dry. There actually is a little bit of sun trying to peek out in a few spots. This is a look at Franklinton, starting to dry out just a little bit there. Temperatures almost 70, and our dew point is up in the mid 60s, which is up there. Our highs will be in the mid 80s this afternoon. Coming up, we'll talk about how our humidity looks for the next couple of days and how much nicer it may be for the weekend. Ken?
Elizabeth, at 8:32, checking road conditions. This map shows the wet roads all over the triangle. We also have the storm tracker out this morning, the WRAL storm tracker. We have Kelsey Coffey in the WRAL storm tracker this morning. You're in Wake County. Set the scene for where you are right now.
Ken, right now we're on 40 West and RTP, and here we're really seeing some simple road conditions here. No wet roads at this point. We saw a lot of wet roads in our southern counties. That's where most of the rain happened earlier this morning. But Elizabeth mentioned that rain is moving out. So we'll be sure to keep our eyes out on the roads here and keep you updated. But Ken, what can you tell folks about their morning commute?
Well, I can tell you that it's definitely picked up. A lot of the crashes that you're seeing right now may look like, oh my God, there's something crazy going on. But a lot of these crashes are not on any of the major thoroughfares this morning. Which means it's not going to really affect your morning commute whatsoever. There are a couple of trouble spots that we want to bring your attention to, particularly this part of the Beltline. This is a live look at I-40 and Lake Wheeler Road this morning. You can see the westbound lanes going away from us this morning. Traffic is moving along very slowly. Another trouble spot is I-87 South, coming on from the southbound lanes onto that north section of the Beltline. You can see this camera from I-40 and the Beltline and I-87, the slowdown that we're seeing this morning. So definitely, you're heading out this morning, any of these major thoroughfares, part of your morning commute, give yourself some extra time.
A man is dead and 3 others are injured after a shooting in Durham. This happened at the Duke Manor Apartments on South LaSalle Street just after 10 o'clock last night. I want to show you some video from the WRAL breaking news tracker. It shows shell casings and evidence markers on the ground. Police responded after 3 men and a woman showed up with gunshot wounds to the hospital. A man died at that hospital. The woman has life-threatening injuries, and this is believed to be an isolated incident.
And breaking news, a woman is recovering after being stabbed early this morning in Raleigh. Officers responded to Carlton Avenue just after 3:30. They say they are not sure if the stabbing happened there or somewhere else. The woman was taken to the hospital and is expected to be okay. Authorities say they have not made an arrest in connection with the stabbing. We are working to learn more about what happened. And tens of thousands of people in the western part of the state are without power after severe weather moved through last night. A person in Gaston County died and another was taken to the hospital after a tree fell on their car. A state of emergency was declared there last night. Gaston County schools are closed to students. More than 50,000 people lost power in and around Charlotte from that storm.
At least 1 person is dead and others are hurt after tornadoes ripped through central Tennessee. I want to show you this video here from Murray County, just south of Nashville. Authorities there say they are in search and rescue mode. The storms did destroy several homes, and a tornado in northeastern Oklahoma left behind a lot of damage. Look at the photos here we're going to bring up on your screen. The mayor of the city of Miami, Oklahoma, posted these photos last night. You can see homes left in pieces and trees uprooted and snapped off. So far, no word of any injuries.
Today, Stormy Daniels, the woman at the center of former President Trump's criminal hush money trial, will be back on the stand. Duke Law's Shane Stansbury has worked with the lead attorneys on both sides of the trial. He says Daniels' testimony connected key dots about her sexual encounter with Trump in 2011 and about the non-disclosure agreement that she signed years later. Stansbury says that he expects Trump's defense team to go after Daniels' credibility during cross-examination today.
They're going to go hard. They're going to try to dirty up these witnesses as much as possible because they want to taint the case overall. And even if there's one juror who can get caught up on some detail in Stormy Daniels' testimony, even if it's not legally relevant, well, that's a victory.
And Stansbury says while less salacious, Monday's testimony was critical. The jury heard evidence that Trump repaid hush money payments to Michael Cohen from his personal account. The trial will resume this morning.
Graduation at UNC will look a bit differently this year. The school says there will be security changes for this weekend's ceremonies after last week's protests on campus. Some of the changes include a clear bag policy, and graduates will have to show their student IDs.
And faculty at the University of Southern California is criticizing the way that Chancellor Carol Folt handled protests on that campus. They voted last night to censure her in a symbolic expression of anger and frustration. Folt became chancellor at USC in 2019 after 6 years as UNC's chancellor. The censure vote came after Folt's decision to cancel main stage graduation ceremonies after pro-Palestinian protests. Faculty are also upset with how the school handled protests, including the arrest of dozens of students.
The House voted quickly last night to block the effort to oust Speaker Mike Johnson from his post there. Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene led this effort. And despite this, Greene could make another attempt at a later time. Johnson thanked his colleagues after the vote, calling Greene's campaign against him, quote, misguided. Greene had threatened a vote against the speaker for weeks.
Tonight, the Carolina Hurricanes will try to claw their way back into the series with the New York Rangers. They'll play Game 3 at PNC Arena after losing both Games 1 and 2 in New York. Puck drop for tonight's game is at 7 o'clock. And after the game, tune in to WRAL for our exclusive post-game live coverage. It all gets started at 11:25. Today marks a big step for Wilson's new baseball stadium. Take a look at this morning. Town plans to break ground on the site downtown. They're holding an event on Douglas Street. That's where the future outfield will be. Earlier this year, the city approved $73 million in bond money to build the stadium for the Carolina Mudcats. The team will move from Zebulon to Wilson in 2026.
An Amtrak train hit 2 cars in Raleigh. We are going to hear from people who work nearby who say they are surprised accidents like this don't happen more often.
Plus, a new show coming to Peacock that the Office fans might be looking forward to. What we know about the spin-off series and the new workplace in which it takes place. And we'll take you live out to Clinton this morning on this WRAL weather alert. Hey, look at the clouds in the sky. After the break, meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner will give us another update on the storms as they are rolling through.
Look at that, Pinehurst. Not too many people out there this morning hitting the links. Probably soggy out there on the grass. As you're watching WRAL News, available on YouTube TV and the WRAL app, or on your TV or your streaming device. Probably a lot of people knew today was a WRAL Weather Alert Day. We've got meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner to tell you a little bit about that, and things are kind of improving right now.
I tell you what, yeah, Pinehurst is one of those places where it was pouring earlier. We have seen most of the rain dissipate for the moment. We still have a small chance of a shower or thunderstorm closer to lunchtime, but certainly it looks like that we've seen the bulk of the real heavy rain that we may see today. We're still likely to be on the breezy side. We're going to take a look at the winds as we're getting through the day. And we still do have that level 2 risk for severe storms. It is possible the Storm Prediction Center would drop us out of that, or at least down to level 1 when they give us an update. Sometimes they update around 8:30. We'll let you know if they update that as soon as they do. Level 1 risk for Friday. We'll have another round of showers and thunderstorms as the actual front comes through. This is a look at what's actually happening right now. The cold front is still way back there across the Mississippi Valley, and there are tornado watches there in red all along those counties that border the Gulf of Mexico, and some ongoing severe thunderstorms there just north of Atlanta. There were some tornado warnings in South Carolina earlier this morning. We have not had any warnings in our part of North Carolina today, which is great. Now, a couple of days ago, we did have a few warnings. This is from the last 48 hours or so. You could see some warnings down, or at least some severe storm reports of some wind damage down around the Sandhills, especially Fayetteville. And there were a lot of reports of tornado damage across parts of the country, Michigan, Oklahoma, Just so much of the country hit hard by this. We will see breezy conditions this afternoon, but nothing that should reach severe criteria. At this point, it doesn't look like anyway. Mid-20s to around 30 for our wind gusts as we get through the afternoon outside of the thunderstorms. You can see this last bit of rain sliding right on out of here. And then we'll be watching closer to lunchtime. There's noon. Watch a few showers pop up in our southern counties. But once we get just past lunchtime, it looks like we'll be on the dry side. We may have trouble breaking out of the clouds. There could be a little bit of sunshine that breaks out. If you're headed to the Canes game tonight, it should be dry at that point. If you're going to be tailgating out ahead of the game, temperatures will be in the low 80s, and we should be dry through game time. Tomorrow, we'll have another round of showers and thunderstorms. Again, you can see some of that starts to develop right around lunchtime and then on through the afternoon and potentially into the evening before the front crosses the area around 8 or 9 o'clock. After the front moves through, we're looking at a beautiful weekend. We'll see lower humidity, pleasant temperatures in the 70s, and lots of sunshine. Ken?
All new here in the WRAL Traffic Center as we see the wet roads blanketing the triangle and surrounding areas. We've been monitoring a crash this morning that happened on 87 in the southbound lanes right there at the split as it comes into Wake County, I should say. This is near New Hope Road on I-87 southbound. A little while ago, this was causing quite a backup in that area. Let me show you exactly what is happening on I-87 in the southbound lane. This is New Hope Road. As you saw from our sensors right now, it looked like it's clearing up. The traffic that's coming toward us, that's coming into the capital city. They will run into a little bit of a backup because of that crash we just told you about. Another trouble spot for us this morning, always that area of the Beltline, that south side of the Beltline, I-40 westbound near Lake Wheeler Road. And of course, this is the camera on Lake Wheeler Road. You can see the damp conditions there on I-40 westbound and people taking it very slow this hour.
Ken, thanks. The son of the man killed in a deadly crash in Wake County is opening up about the kind of person his dad was. We'll get to that in just a minute, but first, I want to show you this. The man accused of causing the crash. He appeared in court for the first time yesterday. Prosecutors believe Victor Sumner was under the influence in using his phone. That's when authorities say his dump truck crossed the center on Mile Plantation Road and Old Baucom Road. That's near the Wake County and Johnston County border. 55-year-old Scott Painter was killed in that crash. His son tells WRAL his dad was a farmer in Wendell.
His legacy to me is this farm, those tractors, and just the memories I have of him working on some of this stuff with him. He was my father, and you took him away from me. I miss him very much.
Sumner was given a $350,000 bond, and prosecutors say more serious charges will be coming.
Thankfully, nobody was hurt when an Amtrak train hit two cars on the railroad tracks in Raleigh. This happened at the crossing on Hillsborough Street near Barrel Road yesterday afternoon. Sky 5 flew over that crash scene. You can see the remains of a red car that was demolished in that crash. The drivers who were inside both cars were able to get out safely. People who work nearby say they often see cars stopped on the tracks.
The line over here is faded away, so cars don't know where to stop. And there's also a lot of pressure because it's so chaotic, people could just keep going. I'm surprised there aren't more accidents.
There were 92 passengers on that train when it hit the cars. No one on board was hurt either.
North Carolina's historically black colleges are calling for more support. Yesterday, Governor Roy Cooper and lawmakers listened as representatives from HBCUs explained why they need more funding. Among them, North Carolina Black Alliance's Divine Nine fraternities and sororities. Data shows that historically black college endowments are a fraction of that at non-HBCUs.
1 in 7 children in Chatham County goes to bed hungry, and a partnership with DoorDash and the Chatham Outreach Alliance, or CORA, is changing that. DoorDashers pick up food from the pantry and bring it directly to homes of children in need. And CORA Executive Director Melissa Driver-Beard says this more private method of delivery eliminates social stigma for children who don't want to take a backpack full of food home on a Friday.
In so many cases, children were actually choosing to go hungry rather than participate in those programs because they didn't want to be seen taking that extra food home, and they didn't want to be different from their peers.
And the program is made possible by an impact grant from DoorDash to cover delivery fees. And right now, the food alone in this program, it costs over $72,000 a year. And feeding 100 more children would require another $45,000.
Independent presidential candidate Robert F. Kennedy Jr. says that some years ago, a worm crawled into his brain and ate part of it. That's according to a report yesterday from the New York Times. The 70-year-old said in 2010 he experienced severe memory loss and mental fog. After reviewing a scan of his brain, a doctor told him his health issues could be caused by a worm that got into his brain, ate part of it, then died. Kennedy told the paper that the parasite did not require treatment and that he has since recovered from the memory loss and the brain fog.
More trouble surrounding rapper Drake. A man was taken into custody for trying to enter the artist's home in Toronto. Police say they were called to the home yesterday after someone tried to break onto the property. It's not clear if Drake was inside at the time. This happened just one day after a security guard working outside of Drake's home was shot. He was taken to the hospital in serious condition. Officials do not believe there is a link between these two incidents. Police have not figured out a motive in Tuesday's shooting, and it's not clear if anyone is in custody.
Look at your screen here. You're looking at what's being called the world's largest plant designed to remove CO2 from the atmosphere. This is called the Mammoth Plant. It just began operating yesterday, and the Swiss company Climeworks operates this plant in Iceland. The plant transports the carbon beneath the ground, where it will be naturally transformed into stone. The amount of carbon it's slated to remove annually is the equivalent of taking 7,800 gas-powered cars from the road. Some climate change advocates worry this will reduce focus on policies to cut down on fossil fuels.
Well, everyone has an opinion on this, and we now know the top airlines based on customer satisfaction. J.D. Power released a survey yesterday with more than 9,000 participants, and it shows Delta Airlines received the highest customer satisfaction ratings for first and business class. Southwest earned the top rating in the economy segment for the third year in a row, and Frontier Airlines and Air Canada scored the lowest in customer satisfaction for their categories.
The impact of friendship and accepting others was clearly displayed at a Sampson County middle school. 12-year-old Andrew Harris lives with cerebral palsy, the most common motor disability among children. It causes muscle stiffness and difficulty speaking, but classmates say that Harris has a lot of character, shown through action, not through words.
He's kind of a joy to have in our school. There's not a lot of people like him in this world. He amazes me every day how happy he is. And I think we all could be more like him.
Harris's family says it's great to see how the school embraces Andrew, treating him like he was their family. Midway Middle School Assistant Principal Beth Elmore says that their success is about their community, where people help other people.
A Montana man is on an adventure traveling coast to coast from the back of a horse-drawn carriage. Lee and his horse, Jesse, are no strangers to the road. This is their 5th trip traveling across the U.S. Along the way, they stop at nursing homes and schools, meeting new people and sharing their story. It's a journey that Lee started 18 years ago.
I'm 63 years old. I don't have any family, so I figured why the hell not? See what goes on.
That's so cool. It's a slow-moving operation, as you could imagine. Lee and Jesse can only travel around 3 miles an hour. The pair is currently trying to reach Boston, Massachusetts from Cheyenne, Wyoming, a distance of almost 2,000 miles. A long road ahead, but one the pair is looking forward to doing together.
All right, look at this. A new art installation in New York City. The piece is called The Portal, and it transports viewers thousands of miles away to Dublin, Ireland. 2 identical sculptures with a live stream connect the 2 sites. Visitors can see and interact with each other. Can't pass through, though. We don't have that technology, not just yet. The artist who created the project installed the first 2 portals in Lithuania and Poland in 2021. No, it's pretty awesome. I love that. All right, good news for fans of Dunder Mifflin. Peacock is making an Office spinoff. The new series will be set inside a newsroom. It'll be at a newspaper office in the Midwest, to be exact. Production will start in July. No word yet on when this will come out or if any of our favorite characters from Scranton will make guest appearances.
Oh, I've never seen The Office. Should I watch it?
Wait, really? Like not once?
No, I
Michelle,
know. I know.
It's not my favorite, but still,
I
come
knew
on,
you would
pop
be
culture.
mad at me. All right, before we go to break, here are your winning lottery numbers. We'll get another check on weather and traffic next.